get started. Hey, yo, what it is and what's good, y'all? Welcome back to 280 Plus, the social media podcast where I take the conversations off the timeline and go beyond the posts. I'm your host, Los Def, and I'm back here for episode 217 of the platform. Welcome back to anybody that's a returning listener or viewer. Welcome for the first time to all the new listeners and viewers. If you're brand new to the channel, I'd like you to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, make sure you hit that bell for notifications to stay up to date. If you want to join the conversation, leave a comment below or on any of our platforms. I mean, sometimes you can even leave a comment on the short form stuff. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we show up on Twitter, and then even like YouTube shorts and things like that. Leave a comment below. If you know anybody that's interested in the content, just make sure you hit that share button for them, right? I mean, so yeah, like, subscribe, hit that bell, leave a comment, share the content, you know what I'm saying? So I'm excited about this episode. We got a lot to kind of cover this week. A lot of different directions that we could have kind of went this week. I would say that I took a couple extra days just because of the Thanksgiving break and things like that. Thanksgiving definitely made last week a little bit messy in terms of, just kind of getting onto like a regular routine, because last week was the week after Thanksgiving, but then there was just a lot of stuff. Like, everybody didn't necessarily go back to work. I didn't necessarily go back to work right away. It wasn't until like the middle of last week that I went back. So like I said, I was a little bit thrown off a little bit, but we back on schedule. And then also I kind of wanted to wait until the Packers played the Bears this week before I recorded anything, just in case if I wanted to talk about them, we would have some fresh takes though. So a lot is kind of going down though. It is still considered the holiday season, I would consider though. So we got a couple different topics. I got a quick little video that we're gonna share that talks about some like the wildest dish I've ever heard of, and this particular dish lets me know that this person has a problem, right, that they need to maybe talk to somebody about. So we're gonna talk about this interesting side dish, probably for the holidays, or maybe this is something that somebody eats on a regular basis. If they do, they definitely need some help. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the Selena, and this is not in any particular order. I'm just kind of going off of memory real quick. We definitely talking about the Selena documentary. We are going to be talking about the Packers and their win and them kind of taking the top of the NFC North right now. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about streaming a little bit. A couple different topics when it comes to streaming. So one topic has to do with how music executives are now kind of clamoring for our streaming platforms to raise the prices in order to get these artists a little bit more compensated. And we're going to talk about a little bit the irony of that scenario, because we've been talking about just over the years about the streaming algorithms and how they compensate artists and kind of the unfairness there. So we're going to talk about this point that these music execs are making and kind of just try to poke some holes into it. And then we're also going to talk about Spotify Wrapped. I'm going to share my Spotify Wrapped with y'all, more so talk about it. I shared some of it on my story already. And then we're going to get into it because there's definitely some interesting pieces here. Definitely some things that kind of tell me about myself. And I've seen a lot of like funny takes. And we're not going to share none of those funny takes necessarily, but I've seen a lot of people talking about Spotify Wrapped. And just like everybody's thinking like, yo, what if they came out with a Wrapped for this or a Wrapped for that? And just the endless possibilities. I didn't know I don't think I remember them having a YouTube Wrapped until my man said something. And then it kind of made me refresh my memory. I feel like I do remember a YouTube Wrapped. We're not going to go over that, whatever. But like, just think about all the ways that you use social media. And what if these platforms created a Wrapped for everything? Like, think about you on Instagram and they got a Wrapped of like all the things that you like and all the heart eyes, and I don't know, like that would be kind of crazy. It would be a little bit wild if they did that. I seen this one that talked about like, what, oh, your Google incognito Wrapped, whatever. So like all the stuff that you trying to hide, if like Google would like kind of put that out there and then like share it to the world. So we're gonna get into that. And then I feel like there was one more topic that I was gonna get into. Oh yes, this is actually a big dog topic, and it is the potential acquisition of Warner Brothers. So there's actually a bidding war right now. There was some news I was gonna report, but then now there's some developing. So I'm kind of glad I waited a little bit. But we'll get into talking about who plans and who wants to buy Netflix and who is kind of the leader of the pack right now. So that's what we'll get at. I did have another music topic, but we might be able to say that for next week. Um, this week, I did watch bits of the Diddy documentary. We're gonna save that for next week. We definitely are gonna talk about the Diddy documentary. I got some takes on it. I'm not necessarily some of it might surprise you. Some of it might be like, oh, I could see how Los kind of sees it this way. But we'll get into the Diddy doc. I need to I watched bits and pieces of it. I kind of was like watching while somebody else was watching it, and then now I need to go back and see an episode or two. There's only like 4 parts, but I need to get into that. So we're gonna keep it nicer, you know what I mean? And we're gonna talk about the Selena documentary. I thought that was a better documentary if I'm keeping it but it's like a documentary movie, I would say, as opposed to like something that was like episodic. So we'll get into that next week. I'm also going next week we'll also talk about Odell Beckham. I know that'll be a little bit it was something about where he talked about how he can only live off of he can't live off $100 million. We'll get into that type of stuff next week. I got some other stuff in the works for next week. All right, so but we're going and I'm happy about that because what I mean, sometimes coming up with these topics and what you really want to talk about, it gets more. I'm telling y'all, man. This is episode 217, but it kind of sometimes it's easy, but sometimes it gets harder to think about, and finalize what you're going to really discuss. So I'm glad I got some stuff in the works for next week, but this week, yeah, we got this holiday dish, the potential buyout or acquisition of Warner Brothers. We're going to talk about execs giving a reason and claiming that artists need some more money from these streaming platforms. Spotify Wrapped, Selena, and then a little bit about the Packers. All right, so we're gonna get into this. So, all right, so like I said, this is still the holiday season. So let's get into it. If you're still watching, I need again hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment below. I definitely want you to comment on this next topic, right? So I'm gonna show y'all a video, okay? And this, to me, has to be the worst holiday dish I've ever seen someone try to make. And surprisingly, there's no raisins involved. There's no raisins involved. And like, granted, those are probably some nasty dishes too, man. All the side dishes from a certain culture that likes to put raisins and things. We're not gonna talk about that right now. But this dish, I thought it kind of stood out to me, and I think this person has a problem. So let's share the screen. Let's get into it. This joint was, I don't care what y'all say. This joint was crazy to me. This joint was crazy. I got it already set up, so I just want to go right to the video. Here we go. We got it here. Yeah. Okay, I gotta make sure my sound is ready to share so y'all can hear it as well. Okay. All right, so this woman is talking about a dish called lit mashed potatoes. So let's see what she's talking about.
Mashed potatoes on the table at your Thanksgiving dinner, please don't invite me. Let's go ahead and make some
She said, if there's not lit mashed potatoes at your Thanksgiving,
potatoes on the table at your Thanksgiving dinner, please don't invite me. Let's go ahead and make some lit mashed potatoes. I'm using Patron instead of water. After I pour my Patron directly into my pot, I use some instant mashed potatoes because, the instant mashed potatoes just work better.
Patron instead of water. Oh,
really good. Now, I realized I didn't have enough Patron after mixing them for a while, so I did go ahead and add a little bit more Patron. I was trying not to add too much Patron, but listen, I think I've already added too much, so these are going to be really strong mashed potatoes. Now, for the gravy, I am using Doucet. Since it's a brown gravy, I'm just going to go ahead and mix the Doucet with the gravy packet. once I mixed it all together, it came out pretty good. It was a little bit clumpy. I just think that the douce and the mixture didn't dissolve correctly, but it's
Yeah, I got the same face as this brother right here. Yo.
and if there's no lit mashed potatoes
Yes.
on the table at your Thanksgiving dinner, please don't invite me. Let's go ahead and make some lit mashed potatoes. I'm using
All right. So yes, yes, you heard me right. And like I said, right, does this person not have a problem or what? Does this person not have a problem or what? She said, if there ain't no lit mashed potatoes at your Thanksgiving, then I don't want to play, right? So if they're just don't come, right? So I know Thanksgiving is up, but like I can see this woman, bringing this to Christmas dinner or to a Christmas party. I don't know, man, but like several things wrong with this. I've heard of like THC infused food and things like that, and I never really got into stuff like that. Um, but I definitely never got into anything like alcohol infused, right? Food. Like alcohol really doesn't taste good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm an adult, you know what I mean? I'm allowed to have whatever I want. But like what? Like so it be and the thing is too, in my head, I'm thinking like, all right, lit potato, like, all right, you putting a little bit of, like, I've heard, you put some beer into some batter sometimes, like beer batter and things like that, or you put certain like into certain dishes like beer. I mean, maybe a little bit of Irish cream or something like that, some Baileys, whatever, into some type of meal. Maybe a little rum, like, right? If we're talking about like some type of cake or something like that. But mashed potatoes with Patron, and then we really just like replaced the water altogether. And also too, like the inst she didn't even use, it wasn't even like the good instant potatoes. Like the good if you're gonna eat instant potatoes, the good instant ones kind of come in like a little bit of a box, right? Where all them flakes come out. Like she had like the struggle meal instant potatoes, right? To where it makes like one serving, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever. And so she took all the water out and she replaced it with Patron, right? And then she just kept adding it. It's like, yeah, I don't know if I kind of think I added too much, but at this point I think you know, what? And then it was the gravy that like really took me out, whatever. So like, and then it's not even real gravy. Like you made instant gravy with Douce because, and your logic is because it is brown, whatever. So like, time out, like please, that has to be outside outside of random dishes having raisins. That has to be the worst idea I've ever heard of. And I don't want to be around nobody like that. Like I don't want to be around nobody that feels like they got to sneak in alcohol to random dishes like instant mashed potatoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I can't even imagine you making them taste good, because that's the thing. Even if something is infused with something, you want it to taste good. You don't want it to taste like what you infused it with. So like, I can't see no way, because of how much you put in there. I can't see no way that them potatoes even taste good. And then that gravy, I can't see no way possible that that tastes good. And then I see some comments talk about some like, well, like, you boiled it, like you had to boil the water, right? Like, oh, you done boiled all the alcohol out of it anyway. Now, I'm not here, I ain't no scientist. I don't really know how that works, whatever. But either way, she's down bad, man. She's down bad. She need to cut it out, and somebody need to go get her some help, man. And I hope if she brought them potatoes to any gathering, I hope ain't nobody eat them Jones. And I hope y'all called the cops on her right afterwards, because yeah, she need to get locked up for that, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. Lit mashed potatoes. Please hold that. Please hold that. Hold that. All right. So let's move on. I just thought that was crazy. But all right, right now, man, there's a bidding war to buy Warner Brothers. So when I was gonna record this, a little bit probably before the weekend started, I seen a headline that said Netflix was going to buy Warner Brothers for reported. It was like 72 billion, and I think after like they decided to like pay off all the debts of it and everything, I think the total number was about like 82 billion. So like either way, over 80 billion dollars, right? Netflix is trying to buy Warner Brothers. So what does that mean, right? So if Netflix were to buy Warner Brothers, and like for anybody thinking, what is Warner Brothers? Like what is included in Warner Brothers? Well, Warner Brothers is Time Warner, right? Which includes the DC universe, right? So think about all anything Batman, anything Superman. And granted, I know like a lot of the other DC universe type of characters don't get the same like love, don't get the same recognition, but like so Batman in itself is like a huge acquisition to get, right? As a franchise. So think about Netflix having anything that's Batman related, them having it. So that even means like Lego Batman, all that, right? Time Warner is Harry Potter. Harry Potter. So think about all the Harry Potter series, all the Harry Potter movies. You think about the Harry Potter series that's about to come out. And I guess it doesn't really affect like the books or anything like that, but like anything Harry Potter related would go then to Netflix, right? And then all of like HBO. So HBO is also Time Warner. So um, that would include all of HBO's content and originals. So think about Game of Thrones, and all these different spinoffs being a Netflix product, right? So it's exciting, whatever, but like to me, it's kind of crazy because right, I thought we were against monopolies, right? There's been a lot of different mergers behind the scenes of different companies over the years, and like certain companies, they know how to acquire and kind of collect whatever, and you see that and you don't really notice it, right? But I feel like this would be like kind of a seismic shift because if they buy Warner Brothers and you're saying that they get all of HBO, so that eliminates now one of the streaming platforms that kind of exists, right? And so it's like taking out the competition, so to speak. So that's kind of crazy. I'm starting to think about what else is Time Warner and what else, like if you have HBO Max, so that includes like the Hanna Barbera, so like Cartoon Network, Adult Swim. That includes Food Network. There's something I think the ID channel and things like that. So like there's a lot of properties and a lot of things that would happen, and it kind of sounds cool at first because it's like, oh, it's one less place to go. It would automatically make Netflix like the biggest streaming platform out there, right? And Hulu would be a distant second. Disney would be, well, I guess Disney and Hulu are to get, yeah, like because that's what I'm saying. We've seen those kind of acquisitions, like Hulu get acquired by Disney and all that. So they were part of the bidding war. I think for Warner Brothers, it was definitely Netflix. It was definitely Disney, Hulu, and then the other person in there, or the other property in there, was going to be Paramount, right? So Paramount is Viacom, which, yeah, I mean, that's BET, that's MTV, that's Comedy Central, right? That's all those different networks, right? So one of the questions, and we'll get into like now the new bidding war and who's trying to buy it, but like how can Netflix possibly afford this? If I'm not mistaken, I remember around COVID, right? Around, and now granted that's 5 years ago, but even after COVID, because there was a lot of originals coming out still, even through Netflix. Like we were getting a lot of like almost like reality TV documentaries. Remember, Tiger King was huge. We got a couple Will Smith original movies and things like that. But then I remember when they were like revamping and they were like, yo, Netflix was, raising their prices a little bit, and they were talking about all these different movies, and we started seeing all these like blockbusters, like real movies was going on to Netflix, and they were actually, it wasn't like some they acquired something. They were like they got beyond just making series, and they were like, "Yo, we're making movies, whatever." So all these original movies started coming out. Then, if you even think, even in the last couple years, them getting live sporting events. Think about the boxing, right? You think about them even televising a Black Friday game, right? The last 2 years, so like they getting into the NFL pockets. But like prior to all these like to even those couple things, like with the sports, there was mad headlines and articles talking about how like Netflix spoke out and said that they didn't know how they were going to be paying for these things, right? Because they have to make a lot of revenue. So then what we started seeing over the last couple of years was yes, they started raising prices and then they restricted the password sharing stuff, right? To where if you do share a password or an account, they made you purchase like a secondary subscription, right? For a discounted rate, whatever. But they were cracking down on that. So that's part of the crackdown. That's part of the crackdown. And that's probably why, but like it's just crazy how this is a crazy turn of events to where they can they can turn around and now they have money to buy another streaming platform, and then at the price tag like 80 million is a lot of money. Like $1 billion would be a lot of money, but like 80 billion, like we that they throw that number out there like it's nothing, right? But like that is humongous. Like that is a humongous figure, right? $80 billion. And so like I'm just wondering like what does that mean? Like and when I wonder what it means, what I'm asking is like how much is Netflix gonna cost, right? So like when you think about big acquisitions like this only creates a monopoly. This only kind of gets us, and again, if we just have three big monopolies, right? In some ways it might feel like we're saving some money because now we only got a little bit, a couple of subscriptions, whatever, but the price of these subscriptions is going to go up tremendously. So if this actually goes through, because this is they bid, and I guess they Warner Brothers likes to bid so far, right? If it goes through, because all anything this big has to get approved, they have to like really the government almost has to look upon it to make sure like it's on the up and up, right? Um, even if something like that happens, like how much do we think that Netflix is gonna cost then? Like we're looking at 100. We looking, I mean, at the most it could be $100. You know what I mean, we're talking about $50, at least $50 subscriptions. I can't see. I'm on like the 17.99 tier. I can't imagine that it being um less than $50. I mean, if they are able to acquire Warner Brothers, but it definitely be a seismic shift. And then again, you got all these. I mean, you still got Peacock as a streaming player, but like it would definitely turn things upside down a bit, and that's kind of crazy. However, the latest that I seen is that Paramount has stepped up and they plan to outbid Netflix to buy Warner. They are offering $108.4 billion in what they're calling a hostile takeover bid, right? So they're saying like in this scenario, and they're saying like and they're offering like straight cash to all the shareholders, and they're like, hey, we will give you straight up cash dollars, if you allow us to acquire Netflix. And I'm thinking like, where the hell does Paramount get $104 billion to buy another company? And it just makes you think, man, like there's so much money out there that it's kind of ridiculous. It's kind of crazy because you would think there's so much money out there that it would kind of siphon down to like, think about everybody that streams on these different platforms, even like YouTube and stuff like that. You would think there's just some way for money to kind of trickle down, and it don't be like that, man. It don't really be like that. So be on the lookout. So it's not official that Netflix has not been bought. Netflix has not bought Time Warner Brothers yet. Paramount is now in the discussion, and they want to try to outbid, and they can promise about $20 billion more than what Netflix can promise, and we'll see. We'll kind of see where that goes, but these numbers are crazy, and again, I think we're getting back to a place where we're getting back to cable prices. You know what I'm saying? Like if you think about, if you got Hulu and all these different things, and you got Netflix and all these different things, you got Paramount and all these different things, and then you want to watch football and everything like that. You got all these different subscriptions that you got to have. Like it's getting expensive. It's gonna get expensive, and It's gonna have people fleeing again. You know what I mean, because it's like, yo, bro, I just got done paying some people think I just got done paying $250 for cable for shows and channels that I don't watch. Now, once I combine all these streaming platforms, I'm gonna be paying about the same amount, especially with my internet and things like that. So we'll see where it goes, but that's where we're at right now. So let's move. What do you think? What do you think about Netflix or Paramount buying Warner Brothers? It's clearly Warner Brothers is in a place where they are definitely trying to sell and get out of things. So it's like you have to save these properties, so to speak. But it's just kind of disheartening that, like, again, it is one less platform, but at the same time, that's never that usually doesn't work out for the consumer. It just doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So, what do you think? What do you think? Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about the Warner Brothers possible buyout. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. All right, so let's talk about Spotify Rap. So everybody, this is one of my favorite times of year, and I was waiting for when this was going to officially drop, and I think it drops in December. The only thing is, with my question about Spotify Wrapped is, do they start calculating your Wrapped right after this one comes out? Like, for example, Wrapped is out because it's not really a full year. Then, like, is it a full year they're counting you for, or is it really just 11 months? Because when you look in the Wrapped and you look in the story, they'll show you like dates of when like you were streaming crazy and things like that, and like a lot of the dates for me started in January. So I'm wondering, does Wrapped really, is it really just from January through November? Or are they calculating right now? So like whatever I'm listening to right now in December, is it going into the algorithm for Spotify Rap 2026? I wonder. But this is I think it's a cool thing that they do every year. It does it kind of enlightens you on one your interest, but also like kind of where your energy was, because I feel like music of all mediums and all forms of media, music tells a story about your well-being and about your emotions and about, I mean, just how you're feeling and your mood and things like that. It tells more, it says the music that you listen to says more about you than like the TV shows that you might watch, even though I think that does, certain things that do play a part. But I think a lot of people, when it comes to TV, a lot of people have guilty pleasures. Music is not a guilty pleasure. Music is like a staple in a lot of people's lives, right? And it kind of like it's a motivator. It's a lot of different things for a lot of different people. But this Wrapped kind of went as I expected. So I'm going to talk about my top artists, the genres that it depicted, my top albums, my minutes listened, the top songs, and then this last category, or this last thing they talk about is my listening age, which I thought this was kind of like eye opening and it was crazy, right? So. But one thing I say is that overall, because I didn't talk about my minutes yet, but overall, I need to listen to more music, right? I've been complaining about music on this podcast, maybe not the first year, but I feel like ever after COVID, I mean, because this came out, we started this in 2021. I've been talking about like my disdain and like my yearning for like music, whatever. So like I'm constantly searching for new things. I don't go back. I ain't gonna lie. I don't go back enough and listen to old stuff because like there's too much old stuff. Like it's like, what do I listen to? You know what I mean? The reason why I listen to a lot of new artists, and that's why I'll reveal. And I don't want to say necessarily new artists, but I'm always looking for new things because I'm looking for the next artist, and I'm trying to be early on the next artist so I can kind of like almost like latch on and like appreciate and be a fan of these people for years to come. Like think about when the people that were first to like Drake, and I don't mean first to like Drake, but like think about the early Drake people that say like, I'm rocking with him from, whatever. I was like that with Wale, and then he kind of fell off a little bit, came back. Big Sean, I kind of got on the Big Sean a little bit after his first couple albums. But think about, yeah, I remember when Kanye came out. Like I seen Kanye's whole career, You know what I mean? There's certain artists where like I was alive and I was well and out here to see their whole career. But yeah, Drake would be one of them. Trey Songz would be another one. Anybody that came out from like 2002 to now, like if like that's when I was obviously I was listening to music because I would have been in 2002. I was like 14 years old. So I was obviously listening to music, but like truly, like that was a crazy explosion. Like music, that's still the golden era to me. The 2000s is the golden era. Like there were so many different things happening in music that it was a treat, man. And it was nice to see people's careers, up until today. And like it's amazing that the people that were out in the early 2000s that are still kind of relevant today, but you also see the fall off too for a lot of people. So still that's a lot of years of music, right? So but this rap went kind of as I expected, whatever, because I told you guys and I tell you guys all the time that I'm kind of like more of a R&B head now. Like I listen to way more R&B because rap just ain't been doing it for me, man. There's not enough artists that are dropping. And then I was listening to like younger rappers for a while, and then like a lot of these guys don't got no staying power. Let me think about it. Like, for example, Roddy Rich. I love Roddy Rich. Like, I love, like, even before he dropped his first album, right? His first official album, I was like his mixtapes that he had on streaming platforms and things like that. Roddy Rich, like, yeah, I mean, like, if you would have told me that he wouldn't be relevant right now in 2025, if you told me that in 2018, 2019, I would think that you're stupid. Like I would look at you crazy. But like, where's Roddy Rich? So like, and that's the thing. That's what I'm finding is that a lot of these young artists don't be having that longevity. I think the R&B artists will though. I think the young R&B artists will. So my type artists are as this, and this is in order. Leon Thomas, as expected. Clips, right? And it's mostly because of they album that they dropped. Bryson Tiller, right? Another R&B head. Sir, right? TDE. He's a part of TDE, Sir. The boy, D West, or was D Smokes brother. Singer, great singer. And then I ain't surprised by this, yeah, I mean, but and he's been part of my top five for the last couple of years. But Drake, Sir has been on my top five. I think Bryson Tiller was on my top five last year. So yeah, so I'm, again, I think Chris Brown has been in my top five before. Blast, obviously. Guys like who else? Who else? Sir has been on there. Masego has been on there. Like it's been like I kind of keep it to. I think Black has been on there. Like I find an artist or two, and like I like their music, and I kind of just go back to that music. Right. Every year I create my own playlist for that year. Right, and I just label it whatever the year is. Right. And so I do that, and I collect songs. So like, and I try to collect 10 songs. I try to collect 10 songs every month, right? And like that's gonna be, and I try to almost like I try to match it to like what my rap will be, and a lot of times it'd be right on point, it'd be the same type of stuff, right? And so yeah, so and that's how I'm trying to like listen to music, and that's how I kind of keep track of my own thing. So everything right here was kind of to be expected. So yeah, those are my top artists. My genres. So it said I listened to like 180 genres, which I don't even know how that's possible. I don't even know what's considered a genre anymore after I read some of these off. But my top genres top, and in this order is alternative R&B. Now, I don't know what alternative R&B is considered. I don't know if Leon Thomas is alternative or if like Sir is alternative or maybe like somebody like Sasha Keeble is alternative. I'm surprised she wasn't one of my top artists, but probably because she don't have enough songs. But yeah, so anyway, alternative R&B. I don't even know exactly what that is. Pop rap, right? And I don't know if that's like a dig on Drake or if like I've been listening to just like popular rap song. I don't know. I don't even know what that means. Pop rap. I don't know what Afro swing is. I don't know what that is. What the hell is Afro swing? I would assume it's like Afro beats of some sort, but I don't know what Afro swing is. Hip hop and then pop music actually is my fifth most listened to genre. So again, I might have to do some research and figure out what some of these are, but I don't know. Some of these things don't speak to me. My top albums: Leon Thomas's Mutt, right? That's number one. Clips's album, Let God Sort 'Em Out. Sir's album, Heavy, but the deluxe version. Bryson Tiller's album Solace and the Vices. And then this was not a surprise, but it was Take Care Deluxe, Big X the Plug though. Not Take Care, Drake's Take Care, Big X the Plug's Take Care. Now, I ain't gonna lie, like for Big Ace to plug, he kind of fizzled out to me. I was excited when I was like really because I've heard him in the last couple years, but like he had this album and I was like listening to a lot of songs and I was kind of really excited about his music and I was thinking like, all right, man, I got one, I got a rapper that I listen to and I like, and then I ain't gonna lie, like his sound and then like his a lot of his song, it's there's nothing wrong with having like a signature sound, whatever, but like everything got the same flow, got the same, it's the same pocket that he doing on everything. And that just, I don't know, it kind of takes away from an artist. So like I kind of fizzled out on him, but like in terms of album, I guess that was something that I listened to a lot. On my top songs, not to three of these are Leon Thomas songs. So my top song was Not Fair. And I remember when that first came out, bro, I was playing that joint back to back to back to back to back. Like I was playing that joint, right? So Not Fair, Yes It Is, Lucid Dreams, right? Yes It Is like that was like his second single off of Mutt. Lucid Dreams though, that's not a single, but that one features Masego and that song, oh my God, like like that's my shit, man. Like a lot, all of Leon Thomas, that was my bag in 2025. Leon Thomas for real. Take Your Time. This is a song by Sasha Keeble featuring Black, right? So Sasha Keeble, she's actually a white girl, like a Caucasian singer from the UK. And I kind of found that out like after the fact, but like this girl got soul, man. She got like a lot of like power in her voice, and like the lyrics is just, it takes you there, bro. It takes you to another place, man. So Sasha Keeble was dope. And that's her song, Take Your Time. Go check that out. And then So Be It from the Clips. All right. So again, everything is to be expected. So no surprises there for real, for real. My listening minutes. Now I watched somebody's content. I seen somebody's video and he was like, "Yeah, like for real, man. Like you're listening. Like he said, his overall, I think his overall listening minutes was like 50,000." And he was like, "Yeah, this is good listening minutes. Like anything less than this, like what are you doing? Like whatever." And it made me think, and I know for a fact that I don't listen to as much music as I used to listen to. But my listening minutes was 13,244 minutes. Now, it said that's equivalent of like 9 days. I feel like I've had like stuff where it was like the equivalent of like 21 days and even more than that, whatever. So like I'm not listening to music, and I realized this, right? So, cause this guy's content, the one who said you gotta have 50,000 and like, whatever your favorite artist, like if your favorite artist, if they don't got a certain amount of minutes, like what's the point of listening to them? And then it just made me reflect on it, and it's like, yeah, I don't listen to that much music. But then he was asking like, what are y'all doing? Like y'all don't be listening to music, and this is what I realized is that not as much as I used to. I don't listen to music as background noise anymore, right? Like I listen to music in my car, but like even in my car, I like to hear video content. Like so, I'm not necessarily watching YouTube videos. If you watch that's the one thing with the YouTube rap, they don't tell you how many minutes you're watching. I probably watch a lot more content or like hear the stuff from YouTube way more than I do listening to Spotify. But for me though, it's like I don't listen to much music like in the background or like as downtime. So, but like I want to increase that. I want to listen to more music. I want to be more in tune. I want to experiment a little bit more going into 2026, whatever. But yeah, I don't listen to too much music in the background. Sometimes when I'm driving my car, I'm not even listening to music. I'm like watching videos and stuff like that. I do listen to songs every now and then. Sometimes it's easier to just like let the radio play because my local area has like a hip hop station finally. Like it took me all my life for like my area to have like a dedicated like hip hop and R&B station. It's a power station as well. So, but it's just funny how that kind of works out. Um, Even at the gym, and y'all gonna think I'm crazy. I don't even always listen to music at the gym. I can listen to like people talking, like, yeah, I mean, and I get it in. Yeah, I mean, and even if I am listening to music, on Spotify or in the gym, I even if I am listening to music, it's kind of crazy. It's like I'm listening to stuff that I've already been kind of listening to, whatever. But like also like I ain't gonna lie, sometimes it's overwhelming. Like getting on Spotify is a even when you have playlists created, it's a little bit overwhelming because it's like, well, what do I want to listen to? Like what bag do I really want to get in? And like yeah, even if I am listening to music in the gym, it's probably not even like some hip hop. It's probably like something slow. It's probably some I mean, and I've had people like yeah, like I've been into a gym where like it's a smaller gym, whatever, but it's still kind of public where you could hook up the aux, and like I've people were scrutinizing what you listening to, whatever, you know what I mean, and I'm playing songs that's kind of like, cause I just need something in my ears. I don't even necessarily need music. I need something kind of playing while I'm doing my thing, whatever, like to kind of distract me, maybe from the pain or like the perspiration. And so like I can listen to people talk, whatever, but like people would judge you if like you playing slow jams. They'd be like, what the heck? But like I know a lot of niggas that work out and that's kind of what they listen to, whatever. Like they listen to R&B when they work out. So but 13,000 minutes is not gonna cut it. I'm gonna start listening to more music kind of in the background. I'm gonna try to listen to more music on my commutes to work. I'm gonna try to listen to more music when I'm in the gym, whatever. But I definitely want that number to be more than 13,000. I thought that was a little bit light. The one thing that I wish they did for Spotify Wrapped is what I notice I do, I save my playlist from the year before just so I can like reference it, right? Because just say my playlist that I created, my like my yearly playlist, just say something happens to it, whatever. I still got that Spotify Wrapped one, right? But the thing is, um, I wish that Spotify was able to allow you to watch your Wrapped from years ago. Like you can access your playlist from years ago if you saved them or if you downloaded them. You can do that, but like you don't get to see the whole narrative again. Like, and I wish there was a way that they could kind of like somehow save that for you or have at least have you download it to where you can look at the other versions in the other years just to kind of compare. Like I wish I did have that comparison piece, but I don't. But the last thing that I was kind of shocked about, and maybe it even told me like not to take offense to this, so it gives you your listening age. And I've seen some people like recite their listening age and it matched the age they were. Mine does not match who I am, right? Or how old I am, right? So if you had to guess, do you think my listening age is older or younger? Well, if you thought older, you're wrong. It's younger and it's really younger. It's 20 years younger than me. My listening age on Spotify is 17 years old. And I thought that was crazy because I don't think 17-year-olds listen to what I listen to. Like I cannot imagine a 17-year-old listening to the amount of R&B that I listen to. I just can't see it. I don't listen to no drill music. I can't see it, whatever. So like the my listening age, it was surprising because I do go back and listen to like older music that I have and things like that. But it's just like, yeah, it's like what? Like are like you're telling me that I listen to what 17-year-olds listen to, or like, but the rationale they said is because I'm constantly looking for new tracks and the fresh music, and I'm on these like current playlists, and I'm constantly trying to find songs that are like I'm trying to find songs that I like, but I also try to find songs that I'm gonna like and that I possibly will hear if I'm out. Not that I go out anymore for real, but like it's nice to hear the stuff that you like, but also it's more for like entertainment purposes. Like the people that if whether it's my girl, whether it's my son, whatever. Like I want everybody to I want to entertain people with the music while you playing while you in the car. Like you don't want to just because sometimes I don't listen to music just for me. I listen to entertain others. And like I can't be just in like a rap bag all day. You know what I mean? Like nobody in the car is gonna want to listen to that all day. So I gotta have like palatable music, and I'm that's what I'm kind of trying to find all the time. I'm trying to find that hot music that's palatable, that's gonna last, that's and it's something that's like playing while we're outside. So, but we'll see, man. I'm very interested to see what next year holds. And again, I don't know if they're starting now or if they don't start till January. I never got an answer for that ever. Like I've tried to look up some stuff, never got an answer, but. Tell me, leave a comment below. Tell me one of your most surprising. What was your most surprising Spotify Wrapped category, and then share the results with us. All right, just one of the categories. What was the most surprising to you? Tell me why, and then let us know. Give us the top five. You know what I mean, or whatever it is. All right. We gotta move on. We gotta move on. We talked a lot about Spotify. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this is more so a narrative topic here. I don't have a video. I don't think I have a video to share for this. Let me double check here. Double check. I don't think I do. I don't think I have a video for this. This was more off of the cuff. I seen something that talked about this, but I didn't really dig into it too much, whatever. All right. So I saw someone online. All right. Let me just do this. Okay. So I saw some online here on social media where, and this it was one of them was a content creator that I've shared his stuff before when he talks about the music industry and things like that. And we've already talked about like hip hop and things like that. Hip hop is dying. I try, we've had that conversation. We know that there was no for first time in 35 years there was no hip hop on the top 40, right? So we know that like stuff is shifting and like it's especially shifting for like genres like hip hop and things like that. So I seen a clip where somebody's talking about how record executives, right, from all these different companies are complaining that music streaming services haven't raised their prices. So they're saying basically that it's kind of crazy that Spotify isn't more expensive or that Apple Music or maybe even Tidal, if Tidal's still around, isn't more expensive because of inflation. And they're saying basically every other streaming service of any other type has raised their prices, and they're saying that the streaming services are not matching the rate of inflation, and they're saying like, oh, our production costs more money, and like since y'all not charging people more money, we can't pay these artists what they need to be paid, right? And I think that's funny. I think that's funny that the music executives want to complain about prices of streaming services because the costs of production have gone up. However, it was the music industry themselves that sold out their artists by solely relying on streaming. So here's the thing. Music executives have had the upper hand, right? And yes, this new thing called streaming, it really became popular. It really became like more prevalent and widely used around 2010, right? And some people might cite that it started before that, and that's fine. But like, I know like that was something like regular because satellite radio was still a thing, right? So people were moving on to streaming platforms, right? And it was still new, but even in 2010, albums were still coming out and people were still buying albums. I remember in 2014, I bought To Pimp a Butterfly. I bought the Wale album. I bought Meek Mill's. I think it might even been even before 2014, but I remember buying Dreams and Nightmares. I bought these copies of albums because these were artists that I liked, and I wanted to, and I still wanted that hard copy because one, my car still had a CD player, right? Now, granted, there not a lot of vehicles and things like that. They're getting rid of the CD player nowadays, so I know there's a barrier there. But music executives, still had the power to really say like, no, we want hard copies to exist. But here's the thing, they didn't care about that. They did not care about that, right? The executives, they hear the artists complaining about compensation, but we're basically having two like different conversations like about this, right? So musical artists, they want true transparency about the streaming splits, right? They want to know like how much am I really getting per stream, but also why isn't that amount more, right? They want a bigger percentage of the pie. So basically more money per stream. Currently the model that they have is failing, right? Currently it's failing. On one hand, you got these like obscure artists, or like maybe they're considered underground artists, independent artists. They're earning more platinum albums and songs. However, the money the artists are actually making per stream is not equaling fair compensation, and it doesn't look like these people are not walking around looking like or feeling like platinum selling artists, whatever, because and also platinum in streaming is not a million. Platinum in streaming is like 100 million. You know what I'm saying? So like there's a discrepancy here for that. Like and like again, if you're only paying me pennies per track, right? It don't matter that people streamed it however many million times. That number should not solely dictate how much you're paying me. Back in the day, we thought it was crazy when, so for example, like when albums used to cost like $20, right? A CD would cost like $20 at the most. There was a time when they kind of scaled back and like you can get them for $10. But when early 2000s, a brand new album was costing anywhere from 15.99 all the way to $20, right? And it was amazing if an artist was getting $1 an album, right? And then we still thought they was getting ripped off, whatever. But like if you went platinum, you sold 1 million, you knew that that person had like they touched 1 million at least. You know what I mean? Because out of that $20 or even $10, whatever, they're getting a small percentage of that, maybe 5%, maybe up to 10% of those sales. But you knew that was their money, whatever. And then obviously they would go on tour and things like that. Now again, you might have this popping ass song, whatever, but then you might only be clearing tens of thousands of dollars, right? So like it looks good. It makes, because like nowadays there's way more. Because for example, here's the thing, like Future is an example, right? So you look at Future got mad platinum albums. I don't know if Future is necessarily going platinum all those different times if he was in the era where we still were buying hard copies, whatever. But like also Future, he might got some bread. Like I don't know, I don't really hear him talking crazy about bread, like him needing more. But he ain't making the money that like he ain't making that music mogul money that artists like Jay-Z was making. I mean, even just big artists like Kanye, like he's not making that, whatever. So the execs want to put the onus on the streaming companies, but they don't realize that they sold out their guys, and now you have artists that are purposely dropping hard copies, and then they're seeing a bigger return. They're seeing a bigger split, of the money, because they decided to like either go independent, or they decided like, yo, I'm gonna make this an extension of my project, and I'm gonna sell them a hard copy, and then they're getting money hand over fist, as opposed to relying on people. Because at the end of the day, it don't matter how many times you listen to my album. It's about how many times are you purchasing my music, right? So so that's kind of what's happening. Um, the execs are saying that the streaming services need to charge more money, because if they do, then the artists will make more money. Yet if the percentage still remains low, artists can guarantee that the execs artists cannot guarantee that the execs will pay out more to the artists if the prices are raised. So that's the problem. That's why the conversation is different. It's like artists want transparency with streaming. They're like, I'm fine with streaming, but like let me get some transparency, but also let me get a bigger share. And the music execs are like, no, oh, you don't need a bigger share. We just need to the companies themselves just need to charge more money, and then we're gonna have the money for you, right? But they can't guarantee that the execs are gonna give them a bigger percentage if the prices are raised. I think the music executives just got ahead of themselves back in the day, and when they realized that they could save costs through streaming, they didn't keep the artist's interest in mind, right? So like music executives look at it like, well, yeah, I don't have the overhead now of making hard copy CDs. I don't have to worry about the cost of that. I don't really got to worry about promotion in the same way because I don't got to make cover art no more. I don't got to make the booklet for the albums. Like there's so much that these there's so many ways that they're saving money, and I think that's what the music executives were banking on. They were banking on that streaming was a way for them to save money, and then it was because then they started they were giving, and granted we don't even know, we know how much the artists make off of a stream, right? Like roughly, like we know that's like percentage of a cent. How much is the label making off of a stream? And I think that's the transparency that a lot of artists want to see and they want to know. And like a lot of platforms have been having this conversation. Like Joe Budden definitely being one of the forefronts on this, like definitely having this conversation from day one. And it's getting weird. And the executives, they think they're being smart. They think they're advocating for the artists, but they're not. That's the problem. That's why the conversation is different. The executives are asking the streaming companies to raise their prices, but they're not being real with themselves and not having that real conversation with the artists as opposed to like how do we really get y'all more money? How do we get y'all a bigger percentage? Because that's when the equity is gonna change a little bit when the percentage goes up, not when Spotify decides to charge 19.99. Like that's not like, and the thing is, even as a lover of music, even if I don't even have no CD player, I probably would still buy certain people's music, or even if you charged me per song. I mean, like there's artists, or charge me for album, like on the streaming site. Like there would be artists that I would listen. I would pay for certain people's music. You know what I'm saying? No questions asked. And I think they need to figure out a way to kind of do that. You know what I mean? But yeah, like make a streaming version of an album, streaming only, and then it's like missing some tracks or whatever. And then, but then on the same platform, I could buy the new Drake album, whatever, and then I get the whole thing, maybe some extras, while you get the Spotify version of whatever album is out. I mean, I think there's ways that they can make it work, but and I think consumers and lovers of certain music, they would play ball and they would pay. They would pay. All right, let's move on. Next topic. But yeah, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? Leave a comment below. I love talking about music, and I love talking about, even though I don't listen to as much music as I used to, I still love I have a big love for music, and I want artists to be, that's crazy because it's like I talked about Jay Mills a couple weeks ago with the battle rap stuff. And it's crazy because like I will, if a artist falls off, and this is not the same as like all genres. Like for example, I got old homie from work, man, my man Rich. He listened to all type of rock bands and stuff like that. And like yo, rock and roll, man, like hard rock, all that, like even if it feels like they don't have a big audience, they have that loyal niche audience that sticks with them forever. And like other genres, especially rock, is able to like age with the fans. In rap, man, it's like that's why we say it's a young man's game, because like as fans we tend to discard our favorite artists when they get older, but we also discard them a little bit when they not progressing, and the industry don't let them progress. So like I mentioned Jay Mills. I used to love Jay Mills. I used to listen to all anything that he put out, even when it was just on streaming. But then like I just felt like he wasn't going nowhere. Like it just felt like he was making music for me. But it's like, no, I want everybody to like this music. And then like, yeah, I kind of fell back from him, whatever. But I think a lot of people feel that way, especially with certain genres. It is more of a what have you done for me lately, as opposed to like what have you unless you're super accomplished like Jay-Z, like you're thinking like, yeah, what have you done for me lately? You're not thinking about like what they've done for the duration of their whole careers. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, with music, especially rap, you want to play the new stuff all the time. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on. Speaking of speaking of oh, you know what? That's crazy. I don't even have no notes on this. All right. So I wanted to talk about the Selena documentary. I guess I'll just give this will be quick, a quick topic. So have you seen the Selena documentary on Netflix? So this documentary movie, it's a documentary movie, and it's really like this is the first time that we actually hear her family speak on everything that went on, and they are fully telling the story. Now we got the 90s Selena movie starring Jennifer Lopez. We got that. We got the Netflix series of Selena that came out a few years ago. And I did hear and know that the family was kind of like a part of that a little bit more. They weren't a part of the first movie as much, like they didn't have the same amount of input. The TV show was amazing. I thought it was great. And then this was great too. And what one thing I noticed about the documentary to like even both depictions of her, whether it's this TV series or the movie, is how accurate both of those products and both of those mediums were, right? Like when it even comes to like wardrobe, the story did not really like there was not really a lot of variance in the story. Like the story was pretty much the same. If anything, we got a little bit more detail in the series, and then we got even a little bit more detail in this hour and a half documentary. Selena, man, she got one of the greatest, greatest and also tragic stories of any musician ever. It's great because this was like a really homegrown type of situation. And it didn't feel as like, and at least in what we observe in every depiction of it, there's no claims of like actual abuse like from the father. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like it's not like the Jacksons, like in Joe Jackson. Like Selena's dad, he was hard on her, he was stern and he was tough and but he wasn't and maybe because she's a girl, whatever. But like this was truly a family that was trying to just better their situation, get out of poverty. Like, and we seen them depicted, and it seemed like everybody was involved. Like if you think about the Jacksons, I don't know how much Katherine Jackson was involved, whatever, but like at least the way they depicted it was like that was like Joe's thing. The boys going out and doing the music, that was like his thing. It wasn't really her thing. But like we know Selena's mom was like integral in creating the wardrobe. The fact that it was boys and girls. Yeah, I mean it wasn't just Celine. It wasn't just female group. It was a co-ed group with their kids. The fact that they were had firsthand in producing and writing lyrics and things like that, and the fact that they had to like cross language barriers and cultural barriers. Yeah, I mean these were kids that grew up in America that didn't even that were Mexican that did not speak any Spanish, and they learned. It's just amazing. They learned Spanish through listening and playing and performing music. That's how they learn. And they showed that in the movie. They showed that in the TV show. Like I remember that. Like they didn't know any Spanish, and like so I love that it was like solely like it was so much tying into it, and it was so accurate, and it was so many parallels like that it didn't feel like, oh my God, they lied. If anything, anytime I saw something on the documentary, I was like, oh, I remember that. I remember that from the movie. I remember that from the show. So I thought that was amazing. I do also love that they did not spend too much time on the tragedy part of her story, right? So like everybody knows like that was crazy. If you don't know, Selena was she was murdered by a member. This woman was appointed like the president of her fan club, and she was like an employee through them. Like she was somebody that was like kind of an assistant, and then she kind of got like a job doing this. And like this lady was stealing. There was some discrepancies, And when Selena goes to investigate, this lady shoots her in cold blood, right? I mean, and gets her out of here, um, and basically takes one of the greatest singers, definitely Mexican singers to ever live. You know what I mean? And it's just cool, man, seeing her reach that goal of the crossover, because that was her goal. Her goal was to, yes, we're gonna make this Spanish music, we're gonna make this Tejano music, we're gonna make this cumbia, but we're also going to cross over because we want to sing in English, like we like that's how you know that they made it. And it was just cool it was cool to see that kind of transformation. But I am glad that they didn't focus that much on the tragedy part, and like they focus on everything else. But it was relatively short, but I'm glad they feel like they got that off. I guess it's been like 30 years. It's been 30 years since she died. And I don't want to talk about this too much, but she died on my birthday, bro. She died on my birthday. So if you know my birthday, you be like, what the hell? Nipsey Hussle also died on my birthday. But my birthday is actually great. Like I have a book that has like my birthday, and like it tells you all the crazy things that have happened on my birthday and famous birth dates and stuff like that. My birthday is one of the greatest days of the year, hands down. One of the best of the 365. Definitely up there for real. So, but yeah, that was cool, man. Again, we'll talk about another documentary next week. We'll talk about a darker, more sinister documentary next week when we talk about 50 when we talk about Diddy and 50 Cent. All right. Last topic, last thing. I definitely wanted to celebrate. I don't even have no Packers gear on, but the Packers take over the NFC North once again. I remember when this was a staple. This was a regular thing. This has always happened, right? So in Matt LaFleur's time with the Green Bay Packers, he has a record of 12-1. So over the last 6 years, we've been putting belt to ass. The last time that they won was actually last year, end of the season, last game of the season last year. That was a game that we should not have lost. Um, but yeah, it was a good game. Packers win in a hard fought game against the Chicago Bears. We held on at the end. Many people believe that if Chicago would have scored at the very end of that game, that they probably would have gone for the 2 point conversion and essentially ending the game because there wouldn't have been that much time left for the Packers to win. So Packers. So apparently there's a thing out there. There's a fan theory out there that talks about Toyotathon. So you know what Toyotathon is? Toyotathon is like the annual time of year when the Toyota dealers they have their biggest sale, and it stretches from late November all the way to like early January. And so like some fan came up with this idea that like, and he started looking at it because when you look at the stats, Jordan Love, and this is his third year now, but Jordan Love plays better later in the season. Like statistically, he plays great in November, December, and January. So basically, they keep talking about like, yeah, Toyotathon. So like anytime you hear football and they talk about Toyotathon, they talk about Jordan Love. They talk about Jordan Love. Toyotathon is on. Jordan Love continues to show fans why he's the truth, why he's a franchise quarterback, and why he's the answer for the Packers at quarterback. All right. No one else, though. This is one thing I hate about the Jordan Love criticism. No one else that's been a starter for the last 3 years has to deal with this level of criticism. There's still so many people that sit there and be like, yo, is he the answer at quarterback? Is he for real? Is he even that nice? Bro, when anytime they put the ball in Jordan Love's hands, he does his thing. And I've been saying that, I've been screaming that from the rooftops, right? To where, yeah, Matt LaFleur needs to start putting the ball in his hands to help him win games. We definitely seen them do that against Detroit. We've seen them do that against Chicago. We've seen them do that against a couple different teams, against Pittsburgh. We've seen many instances of this, and it's still holding true, right? So, but it's kind of crazy though. Like he gets for whatever reason, there's a lot of starting quarterbacks that are not playing better and are not better than Jordan Love. But Jordan Love gets a lot of criticism. Really look at the NFL. Look at the starting quarterbacks of these teams. Like yeah, Sam Darnold's playing good, but like I think I'm taking Jordan Love over Sam Darnold. But um, who else? I'm taking Jordan Love over Brock Purdy. You know what I'm saying? The only people like the mainstays, the people that like where it's a question where it's like, all right, nah, that's a different class. It's your Lamar Jacksons, your Joe Burrows, your Josh Allens, Pat Mahomes, maybe even Dak. Yeah, I mean Dak is that. Yeah, I would say Dak is better than Jordan Love right now at this point. Whatever, he's a little bit more polished and he's a little bit more put together. Um, Dak Prescott. Who else? I mean, Jalen Hurts is good. I don't hate on Jalen Hurts. I mean, I think they got a weird scheme to where it don't look like he's that successful. But like his running though overcompensates a lot of the deficiencies. So maybe yeah, I'll say Jalen Hurts is better. I don't know if I'm going with Justin Herbert being better, but Justin Herbert puts up bigger numbers. But I think I'm taking Love over Herbert. But like you don't hear like I said, like why can't he be in that class of like starters where it's like, all right, yeah, that's their starter, man. Like leave him alone. He better than CJ Stroud. He better than Bryce Young. I think he's better than Baker. Yeah, I mean Baker started out hot, whatever, and Baker makes some plays, but he better than Baker Mayfield for real. But like who else? Who else is I mean, Drake May is the shiny new toy right now. I'm not gonna hate on Drake May. I'm not even gonna make that comparison because he's having an amazing season and doing well. So I won't touch that. But like for real, like Love is a certified starter, man. Like there's when you really look at all the divisions and you look at these teams, like the Steelers don't have a starter for the next foreseeable future. I mean, they got old Aaron Rodgers right now. I like Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels ain't mess with Love though right now. Talking about NFC East. Yeah, like yeah, I mean, they ain't got no quarterbacks other than Hurts. I mean, and Dak and I guess yeah, they got the quarterbacks. They got some quarterbacks in that division. But like he's better than Tua. The list goes on, man. The list goes on. But I don't like that he keeps getting this criticism and he almost got to keep proving. Ain't nothing to prove. It's like he's the proven starter, but sometimes he might have a bad game, he might have a good game, but it's not an indictment on whether or not he gonna win games. All right. So Toyotathon is on. Jordan Love is balling out. Christian Watson balled out in that game. He keeps balling out. He's only been back for like 5 or 6 weeks, but he's become a certified number one target. He is the number one target for Jordan Love now that Tucker Craft is out. Jordan Love always seems to be able to find him. Uh, Christian Watson is our best one-to-one, man-to-man, like game breaker or scheme breaker. Like he can break any man-to-man. He's faster than most of the corners out there, and it's kind of amazing, like him being able to still have that explosiveness even post his ACL surgery. But he killed C.J. Gardner Johnson, especially on that one-on-one look. It was like a cover one look. Yo, I don't know if y'all seen that play. If you see the play, right, where Christian Watson took the slant for a touchdown. So they make a check at the line, right? And and people would make it look like Christian Watson just put his hands up. No. He put a peace sign up to Gardner Johnson, right before the play. Like he said, yeah, all right. Bro, runs a quick slant. Jordan Love hits him. Ain't nobody on that side of the field. And then it's just a foot race with him and CJ Gardner Johnson. And he burnt CJ Gardner Johnson. The one thing I liked about the game against the Bears was that, yes, Jordan Love he did have an interception early in the game on the first drive, had an interception, right? And it put a nasty taste in my mouth, and it made me kind of feel like how these the criticizers, you know what I mean, everybody that's been critiquing him, it made me feel like that, like damn, like maybe I ain't say maybe he wasn't for real, but like I'm like damn, like this is here goes some fuel, whatever. But one, the Packers defense is amazing, right? You know what I mean? And two, like he was able to kind of bounce back. that interception that Jordan Love threw, even though, so if you look at the stats, you'd be like, oh well, I mean Jordan Love threw a pick, and then prior to that last play of the game when Caleb Williams throws a pick, you might say like, oh well, he has a better game. He was not having a better game than Jordan Love, and Jordan Love's interception at the end of the day was inconsequential. The Bears did not score on that drive when they intercepted that. They didn't score on the next couple drives after that. So like Jordan Love's interception had no impact on the game, but I love that like he made a mistake early as hell in the game and was able to turn it around and really start really going to work on this team, and like he gave him the business, right? So got a shout out to him for being able to kind of be resilient, shake that off. Packers defense makes the play late. Um, Keyshawn Nixon, he leads the league in passes defended, right? Like he's always deflecting the pass. He's always in on a play, right? And he's developed, man. Like he's a guy that was just a special teamer and was an all pro special teamer, punt returner. And then like it was like interesting because he was like, I don't want to return kicks no more. And I just want to play corner. And it was like, all right. And we gave him some money to be a kick returner, but like that money was also for him to be a corner. Kind of got a deal for him, right? Only paying this guy like $6 million a year, right? Like, but it looked crazy because it was like, damn, 3 years for like $18 million, and it's like, damn, you paying a kick return that much? Well, we were able to utilize him, and he still got one more year on his contract. We were able to utilize him though as a cornerback, and every year he's gotten better and better and better. And this year he's been great. That's actually his, even though he has a ton of pass deflections, leads the league, but that was actually his first pick. That's the first time he actually came down with one. And what a better time. There was not a better time for him to come down with that. I've been hearing a lot of revisionist history. A lot of people are like, yo, no, DJ Moore was open underneath. Bro, he was not gonna make that pass to DJ Moore. They saying that the boy Cole Kmet was wide open. He wasn't really wide open. We kind of read that because they were running the same play. They kept running the same type of bootleg play, and it ended up costing them at the end because they did it right there on the third down right before that, and we ran what's the name out of bounds. So for them to come back, 4th and 1, game on the line, for them to pretty much do the same play, we didn't even have to have a pass rush like that. Or, just had somebody kind of trailing him, and then yeah, no, you shoot out there and you leak out there and you get that guy. Don't leave him wide open. And Keyshawn Nixon recovered ground and got that pick to end the game. Um, great play by the defense. The defense, I wouldn't say they did give up like 100 yards rushing, but like we didn't give up any explosive plays. The Bears lead the league in rushing plays over 10 yards. They had no running plays over 10 yards. So even though they had like some accumulation, they were not able to kind of dictate and establish the run fully because we were stopping all that quote unquote explosive stuff. Micah Parsons was held without a sack, whatever. However, I'm gonna need the league to start calling some holding calls. Yeah, I mean against these offenses when they're going against Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons' bend is crazy, bro. Micah Parsons' intensity and almost like violence when he's like rushing the passer is unmatched. But he's getting held on almost every single snap, especially any pressure. If it's a pressure, if he's like really getting in there, he's being held, man. And like as a Packer fan and seeing our offense even earlier this year, like where there's times that our offense has sputtered, or there's times where our offense has killed ourselves with holding calls, right? And I've seen guys get holding calls for less than what they doing to Michael Parsons. Like dudes is literally like holding on to his neck, holding on to dear life, and they're not calling it consistently. I feel like Parsons, the way he's been playing and as aggressive he is, he draws at least three clear holding penalties every game, but he don't get three holding calls every game. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get one yesterday. There was even a point where he even put his hands up, and like I know guys like Skip Bayless is like, oh, that's the Michael I know, whatever. And it's like, no, bro. Like they're clearly holding him, and that's obviously if that's buying. that's buying these quarterbacks some time. Definitely bought Caleb Williams some time. He did get sacked once by Kingsley and Igbari, but that was because of Michael Parsons' pass rush. Like Michael Parsons had the bum rush, and then my man slid back up into the pocket, and Kingsley and Igbari was like right there and smacked him right. So can we get some holding calls? I mean, holding. I mean, because they trying to take my man out the game, but like they cheating to do it. So I don't like that. So I don't want to hear about him fading late either. I don't want to hear no talk like that, especially if these games keep going the way that they're going, and if I keep seeing all these missed penalties, like I don't want to hear nothing that nobody got to say for real, for real. But Packers, man, back on top of the NFC North. We now are 4-0 in the division. We got a tough game against the Broncos. The Broncos, number one seed in the AFC. This is a good test. This is a playoff. Like should be like a playoff like atmosphere. I think the Packers are actually going into that game as favorites, not by much. I think the Packers can win, man. The Broncos have struggled to score on teams, and they a lot of their games they have to win late. They have to win late. So I don't think they've really seen a defense like ours. I don't think Bo Nix has seen pass rush like ours. So I think that we are going to fare well, and I think we're going to surprise some teams. I don't have a prediction. Let's see. Yeah, I do have a prediction. The over under right now is only like prediction is only like 40 some points. I think it's gonna be a close game again, but I think Packers got it 24-17. I think Packers win it 24-17. I think we get it by touchdown, maybe something similar as the last game. But I think the Packers can shock some teams. If the Packers lose, it's not the worst loss for us. I think it don't really hurt our division standing too much, right? Because we do have a tiebreaker now over the Bears. We got to definitely finish with a better record than them to make sure that we end up becoming the champs. But like we have the best record. We have the best division record of any team in the NFC North right now. Definitely 4-0, only undefeated team in the division because we beat everybody already. So we'll see how that plays out. But I had a good time this episode. What you think of this week's episode? What you think about our Packers talk? We're talking about streaming and music execs not paying these people. Selena. We talked about Spotify Wrapped. We talked about lit mashed potatoes. What else? What else? Oh, and then the possible Warner Brothers buyout. Right? So a lot of things to discuss, a lot of content to chop up. Happy to be with y'all for another week. This is episode 217 of the platform. I can't wait to come back next week. We're gonna talk about the Diddy documentary. But if you're still watching, I need you to hit that like button, hit